Good day to you, partner. I'm keen, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Hey guys, Wheat Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. I'm even re-recording my audio because there were a couple of things I wanted to talk about I didn't. So you miss all the juicy rants. I don't even think I went on a rant. Anyways, I'm still experimenting with my Infinity main hand summon-based builds. Let's kind of talk about why we're doing Infinity. And as you can see, I now have an Act 1 Merc with a Zenith Flickering Flame, and then some plus skill gear for more Vigor. I don't think I really need more Vigor. I didn't notice it. Faster Run Walk has diminishing returns. I think if I do get another Velocity point, it might be worth it, but that's it. If you're wondering about the swap, I'm just going to be putting on my typical Fire Golem gear that I've used in every video so far, and the only difference is we're switching some of the swaps, and I'm not using Declone boots. I'm only going to be hitting 75 SCR. I think I could hit 125 SCR if I wanted to build it a bit differently, but I'm leaning into faster Run Walk. There's actually one cool thing you could do with this, and that's even less swap. I still think you should swap a skill ring to an Oak Sage. Just having a little bit of passive regen is always nice. As you can see, my sockets were kind of stupid. I have an rune and 2 tall runes because poison resistance was just a challenge to get. But there's actually ways I could work around that, and then I'd have those sockets open for more dull runes. Lol. But you do take poison damage, you do take random magic damage at points, and having just some amount of passive regen will kind of make any necromancer based on low vitality and high energy for cyclone armor and bone armor to feel a little bit better, because they will fall off at points unless you're casting them a little too much, and in this video I felt like I did that. But the Infinity main hand Necro, the reason this build has a point to exist is when you're running Fire Golems, Dominion sucks. Let's just get that out of the question. Dominion is crap. Like, yes, you could argue it's 20% more damage, right? 5 to 6. You don't ever need that. From every video I've ever watched of Fire Golems, you do not need an extra Fire Golem to accomplish anything. The rune word is dead. I think the only purpose the rune word has is budget, and Cham runes are not budget anymore. Can you make one for fun? Sure. But would you ever make one to do anything serious in this game? I don't know. Maybe if you found the Cham rune early on, but then it cost an Ohm rune tune. You gonna waste an Ohm rune in a Dominion? You could make a CTA. Okay? And I still see players who just go, CTA? I could just get an Act 5 Merc and it's +1 skill. Screw you. CTA is so good. You just don't get it. You don't. Anyone who's watching this video and doesn't understand CTA is good, quit watching the video, okay? I don't even want you in my channel anymore. CTA is necessary for every build ever. Okay, moving on. If we don't need Dominion, then what are we going to do with our Fire Golems? We're not running Revives, we're not running Mages. Okay, so what could we put in our main hand to help our Fire Golems do more damage? Exactly, nothing. We do lose a shield slot, and that sucks. And there is no argument against that. There's a lot of good uses you could put your shield slot to. Phoenix, oh yeah. Collins, you could get Vigor just in general and still run an Act 2 Merc. I get it. I'm with you there. But Infinity has a couple of uses for it that actually make it useful to wield in your main hand even when losing the shield. Again, the weapon doesn't matter. We're past the weapon now, okay? For one, Infinity has some faster run walk, which is kind of cute. I have a 30 faster run walk circlet. I don't need to swap that. You could just run Tyraels instead of, you could run a Tranks chest instead of a Tyraels. I think arguably, if you wanted to play a little less swap, basically no chest. Again, highly recommend the ring, Ami, and gloves being swapped, and of course CTA to your Fire Golem wand. That's a pretty small swap and takes a very small space. But if you're running Change Chest, you lose 5% faster run walk. You actually get a juicy amount of poison res. Like, the more I'm thinking about it, it sounds pretty good, to be honest. And you could go 3 socket or +1 skill. How much damage would you lose? I think you'd probably lose 500 damage per fire golem. That is a chunk. I get that. But for T1, it would probably be fine. And you could still just go to Train Chest from your Ormus robes. And Train Chest arguably might be better than Tyrael's the more I think about it. But I will look at that and try to figure out a better option for that. But what does Infinity do for us besides faster run walk and giving us a Pierce aura? It removes a weapon slot or a necessary Merc slot. We don't have to run Act 2. Now, obviously, as you saw, we could still run Act 2. We could run Act 2 with the Zenith, which has a lot of uses. We could run Act 3, right, and give him Djinns and Flickering Flame, and then put an Exile on him with Prayer, and that is a juicy, juicy setup that I think is probably going to be most players' pick for most uses. Do I think Act 2 is actually solid? Yes, I think Act 2... I think depending on how you set up your gear, there is an argument for Act 2 being a viable option, not just a meme, okay? When I say those times are over, obviously it's hard to argue against Act 3 Merc. He just does so many useful things. But as you could see from that video, I thought that the Native Defiance aura with its higher defensive bonuses to me, and then Zenith's high, tri-res that it was giving me, gave me a lot of things that, quite frankly, I wouldn't get from the Act 3 Merc. Now, or I'd get less of. And with Dull Runes, I didn't need Prayer. So there you go. Like, I replaced him. Now, what about Act 1 Merc? Why would I do faster run walk? Because fuck Blood Warp. Blood Warp actually sucks, okay? We don't got to worry about Dull Runes. We need a very little bit of regen to deal with it right now. Like I said, if I had a little bit better socket orientation, I could run a few better jewels. Probably see just FHR. For some reason, I incur FHR, and I don't understand why, because I never drop Cyclone Armor or Bone Armor. But FHR might actually be something I should have a little more points into, or I could just have a couple of Dull Runes, because as you can see, even with all of my Poison Res and Poison Length reduction, Poison still kind of just feels bad as a Necromancer, okay? That's just kind of how it goes. So now we understand why this build has a reason to exist. The Act 1 Merc for running through a map. How fast was this? 6 fucking minutes and 15 seconds. Yes. I didn't play optimally. I think I could have Blood Warped a little bit more often. I also think I could have casted Cyclone Armor and Bone Armor less. They're really awkward because, like, they last forever. Like, Cyclone Armor lasts forever until it just vanishes. And it's also kind of the same with Bone Armor. It lasts forever until it just vanishes. And I wish this game was a little smoother with its damage distributions, but, complaining about that, it's like, if you're going to complain about that, just quit playing the game. And you think you're going to not find that in other ARPGs? Trust me, every ARPG suffers from, what's the word for it? Spikes in damages, which is, I wish something that more ARPGs would fix or work around, but it's kind of just hard to deal with, probably, from a design point. So anyways, the map was pretty clear. I missed one group of champs early on. I missed an area over there, but I was pretty happy with it. If anyone has any ideas about some gear choices, let me know. Like, maybe Cat's Eye? Alright, Skulking out. GG.